What is going on, everyone? So in this week's video, I want to break down some of the stuff that I brought along on my recent backpacking trip so that I was able to keep my overall pack weight down to about 35 pounds. And that included my 8x10 kit right here, my video kit, and the survival gear. So I weighed things independently, and my large format kit, including the camera, 4 film holders, and then this bag that has lenses and stuff in there, as well as the tripod, that weighed in at 21.25 pounds. My video kit, which is in those black cases there, along with this tripod here, that weighed in at 2.6 pounds. And then the rest of it is going to be the survival gear and the backpack itself. So speaking of the backpack, so one thing you'll notice is a bit different on this trip as opposed to last many other trips is a different backpack. So this is from Z-Packs. This is the Arc Haul 64 liter pack. This pack has now been discontinued and has been replaced by the Arc Zip Ultra. That backpack weighs 1.5 pounds, and by comparison, that red backpack I've used for all those years now, that backpack weighed in about 10 pounds. So going to this ultra lightweight pack alone saved a lot of weight. Now, I initially purchased that backpack thinking that I was gonna put just this stuff in it. I was not gonna be for photo gear, it would not be for video. It would simply be for some very lightweight scouting trips, just to explore a little bit and find some new canyons to perhaps at some point bring this kit in at some point later down the line. But what I found once I got that backpack is that I can fit the camera gear, video gear, survival gear, all of it's in there, and it is actually very, very comfortable even with this amount of weight in a pack designed for ultra lightweight backpacking. So I was very, very happy with the way that that turned out, and I think on my previous trip I was somewhere around like 50 pounds or so, and so this time being 35 was quite nice. So let's start by taking a look at the camera gear and how I had that packed. So first and foremost, I was using a Chamonix Alpinist X 8x10 camera, which is in the black case right here. I have 4 film holders I'm bringing with it. Now, when I was on the trip, I brought along the sleeves that came with the film holders. Now I think I'm gonna put them in these silver bubble wrap cases I bought off Amazon. They're a little bit lighter weight. You have the added advantage of protecting them from heat. And I can use one more of those to put all the other stuff in for shooting 8x10. So in here, I have 3 lenses, my light meter, the tripod head, cable release, basically all the little bits and pieces for shooting the 8x10 go in here. And when I pack all this into my backpack, basically the soft stuff over here goes at the bottom, then the camera and the film holders go toward the middle. This sits on top of it, and the tent sits on the very top of it. One of the things I've learned when packing the backpack is that you want to have the really soft stuff down below, very compressible stuff. That way when you put the pack down, nothing's going to get damaged. Anything that has some weight or some bulk, you want that to be right up against the middle of your pack. And you don't want anything up high that's very heavy. So that's why putting the tent up high is good. That way it doesn't tug on your pack as you're going around. So yeah, so 21.25 pounds for all of this, including the tripod. The tripod is a Gitzo 1 Series Mountaineer. It's a model I've had for quite a few years now. And this is one of the ones where you can remove the center column. And I did that to save a bit of weight since I don't really need it for the stuff anyways. Let's talk about the video kit. So these cases right here are from Z-Packs. These are designed to go on the waist belt, so one on either side. And for me, it's really important to have the video kit be very readily accessible. So by having the video kit right in those pouches, it's really easy to get to. In one of them, I have the microphone, which is the Rode Video Micro, as well as some little cases that have the memory cards and batteries and stuff like that. The other one is going to have the camera itself, and also inside that case is something I did a little differently this time. I should also mention the camera is a Sony ZV-1, little point and shoot size camera, but really good video. In the past, I brought along a little solar panel to keep all my electronics charged. This time I brought along this guy. So this is the Nitecore Energy Brick NB10000. So 10,000 milliamp battery pack. So I can USB charge phone, I can USB charge my satellite messenger, or the batteries for the video camera. So that worked out very well for what I was doing. And then the tripod for video is this guy, the Tamrac Zip Shot. They don't make these anymore. This is from 2010, 2011. And I love these for doing video because it serves as a tripod, but also you can kind of hold the camera out in front of you. It does make some sound to it, so you gotta be careful about that. But overall, very happy with it, especially with how lightweight it is. So moving on from this gear to the survival gear. One of the big changes I had this year was I actually brought a tent with me, which is this guy right here. So in the past, I used a bivy sack, which worked out well, but the thought of having a nice, clean indoor space at the end of the day, there's some like psychological advantages to having that. So this is a one-man tent from Z-Packs as well, same company that makes the backpack. And this is the Pluxamid one-person tent. And I had some people ask, why get a one-person tent when a two-person tent isn't that much more expensive and it isn't that much heavier, it's not that much bigger. But for me personally, I very much prefer a one-person tent. I find it to be, and this is gonna sound opposite of what one would think, but for me, a two-person tent feels claustrophobic versus a one-person tent feels more open and airy on the inside. And the reason is that with a one-person tent, you're up against all the walls and you have fresh air coming in. And so there's a nice kind of a breeze that goes through, and it's very cozy. So I guess perhaps in some way that a mummy sleeping bag looks like it might be claustrophobic, but then you find out it's actually very cozy. I find the same is true for a one-person tent. And also with a one-person tent, it's much easier to set up, it's faster to set up, and it requires a smaller footprint, allowing you to put it in places that you might not otherwise be able to put a two-person tent. And other people had mentioned, if with a two-person tent, I can put the camera gear on the inside. But for me, having all the camera gear, put it in the backpack, and put that under the vestibule just outside the tent, it's covered from the elements, and it's, for me, a one-person tent just is a little bit easier that way. Sleeping bag is right here. This is an REI branded Igneous sleeping bag. It's rated for 19 degrees Fahrenheit, -7 degrees Celsius. I've been very happy with it. At some point, I'll probably replace it with something maybe a little bit lighter, but I've been very happy with it. The sleeping pad is this guy. So this is from Thermarest, the Neo Air Uber Light. I've used many of their other pads in the past, and I've been very happy with them. This one is super, super lightweight. It's very comfortable. It's not quite as warm as the other ones. There was one night where it got down to around freezing, and I could definitely feel some coldness on my back as I was having some of my warmth stolen away. But very happy with it overall. And so that worked out really well. And then this is just a little inflatable pillow that I bought off Amazon. I don't even know the brand, but it's simple, it's lightweight, it does a job. This is my down jacket, compresses down, very compact. This is from Arc'teryx. This is the Cerium LT, so really, really happy with that. This was huge for me this year. So before going on this trip, I was looking for some sort of solution that would allow me to both store water, but also to filter water. And so I found this from Catodyne, which is the same company I've bought many other things from that past, including some tablets to purify water. But this is a 1 liter container. So this is the B3 1 liter. But what's really cool about this is that right there is your water filter. So you just fill this up with water, put the cap on there, flip this open, and you can drink it right away. The only downside is that you have to be careful of freezing temperatures and not let the filter freeze. So it's something to bring inside your sleeping bag at night if it's going to be rather chilly. But I was really happy with this. Very lightweight, and the tapered design there works really well, where I can put this inside the water bottle pocket in my sleeping bag. For cooking, so this is the pot I use. This is made of titanium, where it's very lightweight. This is from Snow Peak. It's the Titanium Trek 700. I've used this for quite a few years. It fits inside of it the fuel canister. I also bring along from MSR, it's like a little tripod that clips onto the bottom of the fuel canister. And then in there also is the stove. This is also made of titanium, also made by the same company that makes the pot there. This is from Snow Peak, it's called the Light Max. Doesn't do super well in the wind, but there's ways of giving it a pretty good shot in those situations. And I just put a rubber band around it to keep the lid on it when it's in my pack. So quite happy with that overall. Food, I use a combination of some food that's easy to eat on the go, like granola bars and stuff along those lines, as well as some of the dehydrated backpacking food. And that goes on the outside of the pack. So the food goes on right here, keeping everything nice and organized. And finally, these two cases. So these are 2-liter dry bags from Sea to Summit. And I bought these to keep the items that I want to have very easy access to. This one has snacks. So this right here has the granola bars and stuff like it, energy gel and stuff like that in here. These are designed so that I can clip them onto the vertical portion of the front of the backpack strap. So I can clip them around the straps and they're gonna fall right down to the waist belt and just kind of hang at my side. They bounce around a little bit, it does not bug me, but they give me easy access to things that I will need to be able to grab, but things I don't want to have lost inside the backpack. So in there I have sunscreen, a backup fire starter, some hand sanitizer, and then my headlamp, which is the Petzl Bindi. So a little tiny headlamp there. But overall, it worked out very well, and keeping the weight down to 35 pounds was huge. It allowed me to have plenty of pep in my step, and I was very, very happy with that. With the most important things for me being this guy, which is an absolute joy to use, the tent, which was awesome to use as well, and the new sleeping pad, which I really liked as well. But yeah, so it's very possible to carry along all this stuff as well as stuff, keep the weight pretty light. And just think about it, if I didn't carry this stuff here, I have a very, very minimal setup thanks to all as lightweight as all this stuff is here. But I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you around next time.